So that's a really great question, particularly given that this is a school year, as you stated, unlike any other, because the preceding school year was so different. So I think one of the best things that parents can do is to open a dialogue with their child and get an understanding of the source of anxiety, if they have anxiety, about going back to school from the very outset. You know, is the anxiety because they're afraid of getting COVID when they go back to school? Is the anxiety because they're afraid of social interactions, having been virtual for so long? Is there anxiety because they're starting a new school and they're anxious about making friends? So these are a lot of the areas where children will have anxiety in going back to school after a year like we had. And so if you have a young child or one that's going to be in elementary school and they're experiencing anxiety for going back to school, try to talk to them frequently about school. Talk about fun memories that they had at school, talk about their friends, their teachers, and be enthusiastic, and that will help lessen their anxiety about going back to school. You may also want to contact their teacher and have a face-to-face, or virtual discussion with their teacher and the child, so the child knows who the teacher is going to be, and that can help in lessen their anxiety as well. If you have a junior high student or a high schooler who might be concerned, understanding that they might need some extra support moving through a new building or a bigger high school, just like any other year, would be pretty important. And encouraging them in ways that previously maybe you hadn't, saying, hey, this is going to be a different year, kind of acknowledging what's happened in the past year and saying, let's strategize what we can do if you're having a harder time getting back into the groove, or trying to figure out what activities you like to be involved in. And all of these things, I think, can help reduce their anxiety. The last thing I want to say about this is, did your child have anxiety before the COVID lockdown, before virtual learning? And if the answer to that is yes, then some of those children may be at a higher risk for having anxiety going back to school. And I think a recognition of that and kind of preempting those discussions more actively with those children would be really, really important. So having discussions about social contact, social relationships, and maybe walking by the school, driving by the school, kind of getting some familiarity with the school would be really important.